Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. Climate change is having profound and far-reaching effects on the world's oceans. Here's a breakdown of the major ways it's impacting marine environments. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel. Our oceans, which cover more than 70% of the Earth's surface, are being dramatically reshaped by climate change. As global temperatures rise due to increased greenhouse gas emissions, the oceans are absorbing the majority of this excess heat. This warming is not just a number on a graph, it's already causing widespread damage. One of the most visible effects is coral bleaching, a phenomenon where corals expel the algae they rely on for color and energy due to heat stress. Entire reefs, such as the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, are facing repeated bleaching events, leading to the death of marine ecosystems that support thousands of species. Warming oceans are also disrupting the natural habitats of many marine creatures. Fish are migrating toward the poles in search of cooler waters, which puts pressure on existing ecosystems and jeopardizes the fishing industries that rely on these predictable patterns. This shift not only affects biodiversity but also the food security of millions of people who depend on the sea for protein and income. Another less visible but equally dangerous change is ocean acidification. The oceans absorb about a third of the carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere, forming carbonic acid. This alters the chemistry of seawater, making it harder for shell-forming organisms such as oysters, mussels, and corals to build and maintain their skeletons. Over time, this threatens the base of the marine food web, potentially collapsing entire ecosystems. Deoxygenation is also on the rise as warmer water holds less dissolved oxygen. This leads to the spread of dead zones, areas where life cannot be sustained due to low oxygen levels. These zones are becoming more common and more extensive, particularly near coastlines, where pollution from agriculture also contributes to the problem. Fish and invertebrates either die or flee these areas, placing even more stress on marine life. Additionally, climate change is altering the ocean's currents, which play a crucial role in regulating global weather patterns. Changes in currents can lead to more intense storms, unpredictable weather, and disrupted seasons. For example, warmer Atlantic waters have been linked to stronger and more frequent hurricanes, while melting polar ice affects the jet stream, contributing to unusual weather in both hemispheres. These environmental shifts come with significant human consequences. Coastal communities face threats to their homes and livelihoods. Fisheries, a cornerstone of many economies, are declining or shifting in unpredictable ways. Tourism industries that rely on healthy oceans and coral reefs are suffering. The ripple effects of climate change in the ocean are already being felt, and they're only expected to intensify. The world's oceans have long been seen as vast and indestructible, stretching beyond the horizon with a sense of permanence. For centuries, they've been a source of food, a regulator of our climate, and a symbol of natural beauty and power. But today, they are changing, faster and more dramatically than at any point in recorded history, and the fingerprints of climate change are everywhere. Perhaps the most obvious change is in temperature. The oceans have absorbed more than 90% of the excess heat generated by greenhouse gas emissions, acting as a giant buffer that has so far protected the planet from even more extreme atmospheric warming. But this protection comes at a cost. Ocean temperatures are now rising at an alarming rate, and marine life is struggling to adapt. In tropical waters, coral reefs, once bustling metropolises of marine biodiversity, are turning ghostly white. This process, called coral bleaching, happens when corals become so stressed from heat that they expel the algae that give them color and energy. Without these algae, corals starve and die, leading to the collapse of entire reef ecosystems. This isn't just an environmental loss. Millions of people around the world depend on coral reefs for food, tourism income, and shoreline protection. Farther from the equator, the warming is altering the movement and behavior of marine species. Fish are moving toward the poles in search of cooler waters, leaving traditional fishing grounds empty. This has led to conflicts among fishing communities, nations, and industries as they chase increasingly unpredictable stocks. For subsistence fishers and coastal communities in developing nations, these changes are devastating. The ocean is no longer the reliable provider it once was. At the same time, sea levels are steadily rising, fueled by melting glaciers and polar ice sheets, as well as the expansion of seawater as it warms. Places like the Maldives, Kiribati, and parts of coastal Louisiana are seeing land disappear beneath the waves. Entire communities are being forced to consider relocation, becoming some of the world's first climate refugees. In cities like Miami, Jakarta, and Bangkok, high tides now cause regular flooding, even on sunny days, with saltwater creeping into drinking water supplies and damaging infrastructure. This isn't a far-off threat, it's happening now, and the costs are mounting. Another quiet crisis is unfolding in the chemistry of the sea. The same carbon dioxide that's warming the planet is also dissolving into the oceans, changing their pH. This process, known as ocean acidification, is making the water more corrosive, especially to organisms that build shells or skeletons from calcium carbonate. Tiny plankton, oysters, clams, and corals are all under threat. These organisms might seem small, but they form the base of marine food chains. If they disappear or weaken, the effects ripple upward to larger animals, including fish, whales, and ultimately humans. Oxygen levels in the oceans are also falling, a condition known as deoxygenation. Warmer water holds less oxygen, and in some areas, dead zones are growing, regions where there simply isn't enough oxygen to support most marine life. These zones are often found near coastlines where nutrient pollution from farming meets rising temperatures, creating vast underwater deserts. Fish flee these zones, and those that can't move fast enough often perish. Climate change is also disrupting the great ocean currents that help regulate Earth's climate. These currents distribute heat across the globe and affect weather patterns, rainfall, and storm formation. Scientists are particularly concerned about the weakening of the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation, a system that includes the Gulf Stream. If it slows significantly, it could drastically alter weather in North America and Europe, reduce rainfall in some of the world's most productive agricultural regions, and worsen droughts in others. In the end, the story of the oceans and climate change is not just one of loss. It is also a story about urgency, resilience, and the chance to rewrite our relationship with the natural world, before the tides, quite literally, turn for good.